Hey guys, it's Brian. I'm going to show you all of the medals in episode 2, both Claire and Barry. Now let's start off with Claire's medal list here. You can see it. I'm not going to go and show you all of these because by this point you should know how to do many of them. I'm also not going to show you the sub-weapons. Those kills you can get all in the village fairly early in the game. You can also create 3 sub-weapons, all of that in the village, so that's pretty straightforward. Now just as a reminder, you can get all of these medals across many different playthroughs, but the requirements for each one of the medals has to be done in a single run. Alright, so the first one we're going to look at is a recap. This is one that you had to do in episode 1, so you should know how to do it, but you had to knock down an enemy 5 times by blinding them with the light with Moira, and then hitting them with a physical attack. So controlling Moira, you're going to shine the light into the enemy's eyes until you see it stunned, and you'll know it right there. Immediately switch to Claire, walk up to it, and then hit R2 to do the physical attack. You got to make sure you're the one initiating that physical attack and not the AI. So as soon as you stun them, immediately switch to Claire and then go ahead and do the physical attack. Now you should probably get that easily before you even leave the village, but you just need to do it 5 times total. Second one here is another gold medal, is clearing the siege in the bar without any of the windows being broken. As soon as you disable the alarm, enemies are going to start coming up to the windows and you need to shoot them as fast as you can. I recommend just using your good weapons here. The shotgun and the submachine gun works well. I wouldn't recommend necessarily just using the handgun and just carefully going for headshots because speed is of the essence. If enough of them bang on the windows here, cumulatively they will break open and then that'll negate the trophy, unfortunately. So I got the video on kind of speed up here just because there is a lot involved with this and it's pretty lengthy, so I don't want to kind of bore you with just sitting here clearing the windows. But Moira is going to help you occasionally from time to time by shining the light in the eyes of the enemies, and that'll help slow down their pursuit into the windows. Now eventually here Pedro's going to open the door, and once this little interaction is done, more enemies are going to come through the window, so don't rest on your laurels just yet. If you are going to go use your handgun, if you're quick about headshots, that works, but really just use your good weapons if you have to. Of course, playing this on easy will make this a ton easier. You don't want to do this on the hard difficulty, especially when you're going to be left with very little ammo at that point. So as soon as Pedro turns, you'll be good. Now the stealth attacks here, this area is outside just after your first encounter with the slinger dude. But once you come out here, before you go through the bus, if you're real careful, you can swing around here, and there's going to be a little dog pig or whatever this thing is, and then just melee attack it. It's actually not going to alert the bad guy here, but you can sneak up behind this one and then turn around and go towards the bus, and then you can get the second guy over here. Make sure you don't go to through the bus yet, because there's going to be one more guy in the area. So sneak up behind him, and then there's one more in this area. Be careful, there's another one of those dog pig things here. And then there's a third guy here. Now if you go through the bus, there will be one more that you can stealth attack as well. But that's how you can get 3 of them pretty easily. Alright, skipping forward, opening 3 military boxes. There's actually 4 of them that I counted. There could be another one that I missed, but there's 4 of them. So if you leave the bar area, there's the drill door, and just keep heading this way. You're going to find a military box down this dead end path over here. And then you're going to find another one if you go through this door. This is where the helicopter is located. Before or after that interaction up there, you want to come down this way, and then you're going to find a bunch of good supplies down here, so make sure you come in here. But you're going to find a military box right there by the entrance to the door. And then there's going to be another one. This is going to be right out in the open, right in front of you. This is in the room where you have to get the battery as part of the storyline, so you're not going to miss this one. So make sure you go inside of here. And then we're going to find one more. And this is going to be in the area where you got to kind of use both Claire and Moira to open the door there. You got to hit the switch with one and then switch to the other. You got to use teamwork. But if you're coming down into the basement, there's going to be a military box around the corner to the left here. And then if you continue up the stairs on the other side, there's one of the gimmick boxes that Natalia will have to open in the Barry chapter. Alright, so I mentioned the gimmick box. There's another one. This is by the elevator with the drill door right there. If you use the Moira's crowbar here and open this door, there's not a military box here, but there is a gimmick box. So if you want to get that with Natalia, you're going to have to make sure you open up the that door. Alright, so the last one here is escaping from the village without taking damage from Mutant Pedro. This is pretty easy. As soon as he mutates, just keep running around, use your evade, and avoid him. And then shortly, this door is going to break open. So you just want to get outside. And at this point, you just want to buy time. Just keep running from Mutant Pedro. And at some point here, Neil's going to drop this ladder. And then as soon as you get both of your characters up there, you'll be home free. And assuming you didn't take any damage from Pedro, you're going to earn this medal. Got a little close there. You can also use a decoy bottle before you start climbing up this ladder, and that'll hopefully allow you time to escape. Alright guys, now we're going to go over to the Barry chapter, and now just a couple quick notes here. You need to make sure you did not kill Pedro in Claire's chapter. Even though there's a trophy for it, to get all the medals, Pedro's going to have to be alive during Barry's section here. Now also, deaths and restarting checkpoints is going to wipe progress. So you can't, the stats don't carry over through deaths or restarts. Also, you could play it on any difficulty, so I'd highly recommend you just play this on easy. So let's go ahead and take a look at these. Defeat 5 Revenants by only hitting their weak spot. You should know how to do this because you had to do it in episode 1. But use Natalia and she'll point out their weak spots. And now this guy is the head. So you make sure you only open up the weak spot there and only hit that weak spot. If you hit any other part of his body, you will negate the ability to defeat them by only hitting their weak spot. Now, there's way more than 5 of these guys, so it shouldn't be an issue to get it in one run. Here, this weak spot is his left leg. So you just have to do this to 5 of them total. Again, there's plenty of these guys. You're not going to have any issue finding enough guys to do that on. Next one we're going to take a look at is by defeating Mutant Pedro by destroying all his eyes. Again, you have to make sure you don't kill him with Claire in Claire's chapter. And what you want to do is switch to Natalia. She'll actually show the weak spot on the guy. You're shooting for the orange eyes. So when you reveal the weak spot on using Natalia, make sure you shoot the eyes on other parts of his body. And then as soon as you've destroyed him or killed him, hopefully by just hitting all the eyes, you will earn that medal. Now moving forward here, follow-up attacks. Now this one is really difficult. First opportunity, I highly recommend you do this is in this area where you got the first little, not the this mudslinger dude. And then you're going to have 2 revenants. And what I did is I killed one and then I opened up the weak spot on the second one. Now to knock him down on the ground in order to do a follow-up attack, what you need to do is let the mudslinger back there. I'm not sure if he's flinging mud or shit or what he's flinging, but that will actually knock him down if you get him to throw it close enough. Now you can also knock him down and do a follow-up attack. Sometimes with explosive bottles, I find using these slingers the best way to knock him down. Now you may have to do 2 follow-up attacks on this guy in order to actually defeat him. So there we go. He got knocked down, and at this point I walk up, hit R2. Sometimes if you're quick enough, you'll get a second R2 attack. But that's one. Now the second one that I did it as the second opportunity is shortly after that, after you go through the bus.
Just stay there.
There's going to be another one of those slingers up on the by the door up top there. So I'm going to wake him up. And there's going to be actually 2 revenants here. So I'm going to have to kill off one of them, just because it's a little too difficult when you have 2 of these guys running around. But as you can see here, the slinger knocks this guy down. Unfortunately, he was in a position where I couldn't do a follow-up attack, and now I have a second one, so I just killed him off. Now with this guy here, I am not going to destroy his weak spot, because if you destroy his weak spot, sometimes this gunk this guy throws will actually kill the Revenant, and you have to actually kill him yourself using the follow-up attack. So I'm just going to kind of lure this guy around. He's probably going to grab me a couple times. Such as right there. So you're going to have to dodge him. You're going to have to dodge the stuff that's being flung at you. But there we go. He knocked him down once, so I'm going to do a follow-up attack now. Now, also, I didn't show it, but I made Natalia stay near the bus. I didn't want her coming in and kind of screwing this up with a brick or anything. So as I mentioned, you'll have to do it twice. So I'm just waiting for him to fling something, and I'm going to kind of evade out of the way. And there we go. Do a follow-up attack with R2. And that is the 2 enemies I defeated with follow-up attacks. That one is a bitch. That one is definitely the hardest medal in the game so far. So moving on. This is going to be defeating 8 enemies with sub-weapons. The sub-weapons are obviously like your explosive bottles. Now the first one you should really key in on here is in these sewers. You have 3 of these little dog pig things in this area. So I'm going to wake up the one, and then you're going to have 2 other ones appear up here. So I'm going to use 1 flame bottle here and destroy all 3 of these. Now there's an issue possibly with the number of sub-weapons. If you don't have enough, play through the chapter once or twice. Don't use any of the bottles because they'll carry over into your next playthrough. So if you do a chapter select. Now with these Revenants, because the rest of them are all going to be these Revenants, you're going to want to expose their weak area first. Otherwise the bottle won't kill them. So what I did is I opened them up, and then I used the bottle, and once I grouped 2 of them together. So you're going to have to defeat 8 enemies with sub-weapons to earn that medal. Alright, so moving forward, gimmick boxes. There's, I think 6 of them I found. So the first one is in this room where you got to get that key. There's actually a gimmick box in there. But before you go in there, there's one hidden over here, kind of in the shadows. And then as I mentioned, there's one in that room with the key. So we're going to drop down here, pick up the key, and then there's that second gimmick box. You only need to open 3 to get this medal, so you should have no problem getting these on your own. Now when you make it to the village, there's going to be a blue house here that you can crawl in through this entranceway. There's going to be a bunch of good stuff in here, so make sure you come in here to get some supplies. But you'll also find a 3rd gimmick box. And then there's going to be another one from the bar. If you start there, if you go up the stairs around the back side of it, you'll see a 4th gimmick box. Then another one is going to be in the area where you had to use Claire and Moira to do to work together to open up a gate. If you go down to the basement and go up the other side, you will see the gimmick box right by the door. And that's where the controls were. And the final gimmick box is going to be the very end of the chapter, before you go up the stairs.
Pretty creepy, huh?
You're going to want to swing around over here, and there's going to be a hidden room with the location of the final gimmick box. Alright, so now this is going to be the stealth one, where you have to do kill 5 enemies using stealth in the warehouse section. Now this is the beginning of the warehouse section. Let's skip the cutscene here. Now the first 2 guys you're going to come across are going to be, right after you get control of your character, are going to be down the hallway. I actually don't kill these guys with stealth, but just letting you know that you can get them here. Now also, to do stealth, if you can't sneak up behind someone, you can use your smoke bombs. And then when they're in the cloud of smoke, you can actually just get up right behind them and do a stealth attack. So we're going to come down this door, and there's going to be a set of 3 guys you can easily kill. One here, and then one up by this hall, this alleyway once you go up here. There's actually going to be 2 in here. So you can kill this guy. Then we're going to go around the corner, and there's another one there. And then after you kill this guy, you can go into another room with the big slinger dude. Again, you can use the smoke if you need to get behind him and do a stealth attack. So right here you can do it as well with smoke. So I want to thank you guys for watching. That's all the medals in episode 2. Please like, comment, and subscribe.